Hi, folks. Well, today's another day closer to spring. This is actually 26, 26 days left till spring. What I'm going to do is in these next 26 days, I am going to try to make a video showing you what I'm doing, getting done around the homestead, and how I'm preparing for spring myself. And I'd love to see what y'all do. Love to hear about it. 26 days from spring. How many times we ever write something in the sand, in the mud? What I've got here is my ditch here, right in front of the house. I live out in the country in a little subdivision, and we don't have concrete ditches and sewers and things like that. It's just the side of the road and ditches to help the water run off. And the county has come out and dug out the ditch, as they do a few times, ever so often. And I did have this looking pretty good at one time, but I get a lot of runoff from other properties up the hill, and they come down here and fill this ditch in, and I come and dig it out and then use that as fill dirt for other things. You'll see what I've got here is a little retaining wall that I built a few years ago out of some set up concrete blocks. They had some at a local building supply store, and actually it was Tractor Supply, and they had 2 pallets of these, and didn't know what to do with them, and I offered a man a price, and he said that sounds good, and it was very cheap. I think I gave, I shouldn't say what I gave, but I gave 25 cents a block for those, 25 cents a bag, and they have been very helpful. I've done a lot of things with these concrete bags, so it was something I picked up real cheap, and it's hard to find something where you can get 25 cents for a big old piece of concrete like that. I think they look pretty good, but it's kind of grown up, and I need to do some work out here, and I'll probably make another video that'll just show what I'm doing with this. But one of the things that's part of my philosophy is, how do you take something that's a negative and make it into a positive for you? That's a big thing in life, because we all got things that's thrown at us, negatives, and if you can do something with that, then you're ahead of the game. There's an old saying about what is it? You're gonna take the stones that they throw at you and use those to build a house. So that's the thing with life, turning negatives into a positive. And so we've got 26 days left of spring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on the other side of the road. And what I did was I asked the guys that was digging this out if they would save some of that for me and put it in my driveway, parking spot in my driveway, and I use that to fill up a spot where I'm adding on to my outdoor kitchen area. So it's been a blessing. It's cleaned out the ditch, and now I've got fill dirt that went into my outdoor kitchen. Still working on it. County saw fit to put it over here on the wrong side of the road before I could get to them. So I've already moved one load that was down there. Now I've got to move this other load, so I'll have more fill dirt. We're going to walk over there in those woods, and follow me over there, and I will explain to y'all kind of a little bit about my philosophy, about how I do things, and things that are of value to me, and what I'm doing with my property. So it's going to be kind of a lengthy video at this point, but it'll hopefully resonate with some of you folks. It's all about how we can do things in a more natural way, respect our environment, and take care of ourselves at the same time. Anyhow, follow me over there. Welcome back to Homestead Aquarius. Today I decided to come out here and give you a little background on my philosophy of things. I'm in a little patch of woods close to my house, and it's a reminder of what nature does and how she goes about things, at least in this part of the world. In the eastern half of the United States, as most of us are aware, it was completely forested before we came over and cut most of it down and used it to make houses and railroads and everything else that you use wood for. Alabama itself was so thick and the trees so tall that they blocked out the sun. And the earlier pioneers in America, they used to call Alabama the dark territory because of that. We had American chestnuts, 100 feet tall, huge old growth oak trees, hickory trees, every kind of tree that you can imagine at one point, that we had, growing huge, as tall as they could go and blocking out the sun. And we can still see a lot of it now, in this little patch of woods. All this used to be a cattle farm, not too many decades ago. And we've got pine trees all in the south, and that's what colonizes first any kind of cleared land because it grows the fastest. And then wind comes in and shows us what she thinks. Mother Nature shows us what she thinks of yellow pines, sugar pines. They like to fall down a whole lot. Their roots don't go down very long. But what we still got is what nature does. She does not like to go around naked. She likes to be covered up. And so, everything starts, when it gets cleared off, she starts allowing seeds to pop up, and weeds. What we call weeds is what the Indians called friends. And all indigenous peoples throughout the world, they knew what was in their woods and in their fields. And they had uses for most of them. And so, anyhow, nature likes to cover herself up real fast. Now, in here, we've got some very old logs or old trees that have fallen down. That's a bunch of blowdowns, and they are sitting there just dying away, rotting, and will turn into the rich dirt that's here. It's left alone here in these woods. Now here we've got some of these trees that's actually made it to the ground, and look, they're being colonized by the moss. That's getting its nutrients out, sending down its roots into the bark, in through the wood, breaking it down, all the bacteria, the plants, just devouring it, devouring all this. Look at this. Watch this. Let's see, let me get it to focus at the right spot. Let me see. Look at that water coming out of there. This rotted wood will retain a lot of moisture. Where you've got water, you've got life. And so everything's breaking this down. Bacteria, the fungi of different kinds, breaking it down and turning it into the richest soil that you can find. Right here, just going to dig around here just a little bit and show you this. And a lot of the stuff that I'm showing, most of us know that as adults and gardeners and people who've been around a while, but some people don't. Some people haven't seen this. Look down in there. This is the soil that Mother Nature is building, and it's full of life, full of moisture. Can't squeeze a whole lot out of that, but look at there. There you go. More water. And so what I try to do, my philosophy on it, is to try to do the same thing that nature does, as close to it as I can get, and recreate those conditions. Permaculture gardening tries to follow nature's examples, and we try to mimic nature in as much as possible. And what that does is you build a system that takes care of itself. There are permaculture gardens that feed people, excuse me, while I get up. They feed people year-round. During the summer, they've got lots of perennial plants in them that come up and give food, you know, at the time. They've got nut trees, fruit trees, all kinds of trees bearing food in them. Herbs, just about anything you can think of. Look at here. Here's some of the fungus, mushrooms. Now, I'm not sure what species this is, but, you know, you can design your own place using permaculture principles. You can have mushroom gardens, oysters, shiitakes, little button mushrooms. Have your own Garden of Eden right there in your house. Now, here in the woods, it doesn't get a lot of sun to grow common, every ordinary day plants. But that's why we clear out, give some sun so we can have our gardens. Anyhow, this is a good place to stop in here. I just wanted to show you this and kind of explain what I'm going for on my property. I'll see you back over there in a minute. Now, I was walking through the woods here on the way back to my homestead, and saw this bright flash of yellow. Had to check it out. What this looks like is, it looks like witch's butter. That's a pretty common fungus here in the south, growing on this tree. I'm not sure that that's what it is, but it sure looks like it. Look at it breaking down this tree. Most of the time it's found on pine trees, and I don't think this is a pine tree. It's dead, but look at it. Mother Nature is amazing. This fungus is sitting there, feeding, breaking down this tree to become more soil. It is absolutely amazing. When we try our best to duplicate nature, we fall short so far. We do good to even understand her. But this is kind of neat. Just a quick thing here. Go explore. Explore your place, your woods. Find things like this. Learn about what's out there. I'll see you in a minute.